Welcome back to Dungeons and Deep Dives, the series where we explore the classes of Fabula Ultima with a designer's lens and a dreamer's heart. I'm the Neosoulgod, but you can just call me Neo, and today we're drawing our swords and stepping into the shadows to study the Darkblade. The Darkblade is not just a fighter who wields a sword. They are a warrior who has embraced the burden of dark power and forbidden techniques, paying their life essence for strength, dancing with death, and surviving by sheer force of will. They don't simply endure pain, they claim it, master it, and become something stronger because of it. In this video, we'll break down the Darkblade's mechanics, explore how they encourage daring, high-risk plays, and offer a few tips for embodying this dark hero or villain at your table. If you love edgy anti-heroes, sacrifice mechanics, and anime-style one last desperate strike moments, this might just be your next favorite class. So trade your limits for limitless strength and unsheath your blade. The night is waiting. This is the Darkblade. The Darkblade's free benefits are all about survival and offense, exactly what you'd expect from a sword fighter flirting with death. First, they permanently gain 5 maximum hit points. It's not flashy, but it's vital. Think of it as a seatbelt for the class. You're going to be losing HP on purpose, so the game gives you a little extra padding. Second, the Darkblade gains proficiency with martial melee weapons and martial armor. This immediately tells you two things. You're supposed to hit hard, and you're supposed to survive hits that would not take others out. It's a mechanical safety net, letting you trade your HP aggressively without instantly folding like a paper towel. Next, we'll be going into Darkblade's skills. These will help you bring that edgy OC from your middle school days to life, with a tragic backstory and the brooding history. Agony. After you deal damage to one or more creatures, if you have a bond towards at least one of those creatures, you may recover skill level times 2 hit points and skill level times 2 mind points. Agony turns relationships, specifically bonds, into a tactical resource. Whenever you strike an enemy you have a bond with, you get to heal yourself and regain MP based on your skill level. That means the more skill level you invest into Agony, the bigger the recovery. Here's a pro tip for it. Don't treat bonds just as flavor for Darkblade. Build bonds tactically with enemies you expect to fight for a long time, like bosses or rival characters. You'll be able to constantly refuel yourself mid-fight, turning your enemy hatred into literal fuel for survival. Dark Blood. As long as you are in crisis, you have resistance to dark damage and poison damage. This is a passive skill with massive implications. Once you're in crisis, which is again HP 50% or lower, you become much harder to kill with 2 very common damage types, dark and poison. Darkblade wants to dip into crisis. You're at your strongest when you're wounded and desperate. Build your playstyle around surviving low HP, not avoiding it. Healing is great, but staying in that danger zone can actually make you a menace. Heart of Darkness. Once foreseen upon entering crisis, you may choose a specific creature you can see that you don't have a bond towards. If you do, create a bond of hatred towards that creature. Heart of Darkness forges a bond automatically the moment you hit crisis, and not a friendly one. It's a bond of hatred, and it synergizes perfectly with Agony. You don't have to wait for RP downtime or rest scenes or weird conversations to form a bond. You just hate them because they almost killed you. Here's a pro tip. This free bond creation gives you a fast track to trigger Agony, even against new enemies. In boss fights, this is huge. First time they put you into crisis, instantly create a bond and start fueling yourself off of hitting them. Painful lesson. After another creature causes you to lose hit points, you may immediately perform the study action on that creature for free, with a bonus equal to skill level to the study check. Painful lesson rewards you for taking hits. Study normally costs you an action, but with this skill, getting hurt gives you a free intel grab with a bonus. Here's a pro tip. Use Painful Lesson to rapidly learn enemy weaknesses mid-fight. In boss fights or elite encounters, this can completely swing the battle. If you know what attribute to hit, what defenses they lack, or what spells they're about to use, you can prepare your death dances accordingly. Shadow Strike. Use an action to perform a Shadow Strike. Roll your current might die and lose HP equal to the result. If you survive, make a free weapon attack. If it hits, deal extra damage equal to the skill level plus the number you rolled on your might die. All damage from this attack becomes dark. This is the Darkblade's signature move, and it is brutal. You're literally betting your own HP for a burst of dark damage. It costs an action to roll your might die, lose that much HP, then attack immediately. If you land the hit, the payoff is massive. Here's a pro tip. Shadow Strike turns every dice roll into a gamble. The lower your might die, the safer it is, but the less damage you can dish out. Investing skill level into Shadow Strike not only buffs the extra damage, but it also makes your gamble less risky because you get a better hit bonus. Combine this with Dark Blood. After taking HP hit from Shadow Strike, you might deliberately fall into Crisis, triggering your resistances and Heart of Darkness, which will then trigger Agony. That turns what looks like a suicidal play into a power spike. Let's recap what we've done so far. The Darkblade isn't just about throwing yourself into danger recklessly. It's about calculated risk. It's about choosing the exact moment to embrace death and making death blink first. You trade safety for opportunity. You bleed to learn. You stagger, but you don't fall. And when the dust settles, you're the last one standing. And that's just scratching the surface. If the basic Darkblade kit is about dancing on the edge of death, then their heroic skills are about stepping beyond it. This is where the Darkblade stops playing fair. This is where the Darkblade becomes unstoppable. Let's take a look. Adversity from the core rulebook. Its only requirement is you must have mastered the Darkblade class. For every status effect you're suffering from, you gain a +1 to all checks and +2 extra damage to everything. This includes attacks, spells, arcana, items, you name it. This turns every debuff into a power-up. The more you suffer, the stronger you become. It rewards risk-taking and makes you nearly impossible to shut down with a status spam. A smart Darkblade doesn't cleanse, they thrive in the rot. Other classes fear status effects, but the Darkblade weaponizes them. Heartbreaker from the core rulebook. Its only requirement is you must have mastered the Darkblade class. This one is for the drama kings, queens, and monsters alike. Heartbreaker takes everything the Darkblade stands for, risk, emotion, power, and pours it into one brutal strike. If your attack targets just one creature, and you have a bond towards them, you can choose to spend half your current HP, rounded down. In return, you deal massive bonus damage equal to 10 times the strength of that bond. That means a strength 3 bond turns into an extra 30 damage nuke, if you're willing to bleed for it. There are a few key limitations. It can only be used once per turn, only during a conflict, and only when you're attacking a single target you have a bond towards. But with the right setup, especially combined with Heart of Darkness, Shadow Strike, or even a moment of dramatic betrayal, Heartbreaker lives up to its name. This is the stuff final boss cutscenes are made of. Whether you're making a last stand, fulfilling a tragic arc, or just role-playing that sweet, sweet edge, this heroic skill hits like raw emotion turned into steel. Pulverizing Strike from the High Fantasy Atlas. This requires the Breach skill from the Weapon Master class. You'll want to bookmark this for when we cover Weapon Master. Just know it goes crazy. Dreamslice from the Techno Fantasy Atlas. Its requirements are you must have mastered either the Darkblade class or the Esper from the Techno Fantasy Atlas. When you hit with a Shadow Strike using a sword, enemies lose mind points equal to the number rolled on your might die, and if you roll an 8 or higher, you can action suppress one creature, meaning they lose one action next turn, if you have a bond or focus on them. This is mind control through blade play. High might die builds shine here. Roll an 8, and suddenly their big enemy spellcaster only has one shot, or none. Make it or break it from the Techno Fantasy Atlas. Its requirements, you must have mastered Darkblade or Fury. Before an attack, you shout your battle cry. Make it or break it. If you hit, double your high roll when calculating damage. But if the number is even, something breaks. Either a transforming weapon locks up, or a regular weapon gets shoved back into your inventory. This skill is pure chaotic drama. It's high risk, high reward, and incredibly cinematic. Pair it with expendable or easily swappable weapons, and you'll always come out ahead. Plus, it gives big hero moment energy every time. Brambleheart from the Natural Fantasy Atlas. This one requires the Chloromancy skill from the Floralist class. We'll dive into this one when we talk Floralist, but think of it as Mother Nature's answer to the Darkblade's inner torments. Fitcast from the Natural Fantasy Atlas. Its requirements are you must have mastered any of the Chimeras, Darkblade, Esper, Fury, or Wayfarer classes. You can swap in Might for one stat on magic checks, so Chimerism rituals become Might plus Might, for example. If your weapon accuracy includes Might, you can treat it as arcane for other skill effects. We spoke about this briefly in the Chimerist class breakdown, but here's why it matters for Darkblade. This is niche, but very cool. It lets Darkblade weapons qualify for effects that require arcane weapons, including Esper synergies, certain Arcana effects, or even custom ritual tech. Think of it like a bridge between martial and mystical builds. A strength-based mage knight forged in darkness. Here's a pro tip for this one. Pair this with ritual access from another class, and you've got a unique muscle mage build that slashes and casts in equal measure. And that's the Darkblade, razor-edged, blood-soaked, and always walking the line between sacrifice and supremacy. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more Fabula Ultima content, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you never miss a shadowy reveal from the depths of this system. Got a Darkblade moment where you turn pain into power? Or a build that thrives in the red? I want to hear all about it. Drop it in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, check out the links in the description. You'll find my Patreon, where you can get early access to new videos and behind the scenes content, plus affiliate links to DriveThruRPG, where you can grab the books and expansions we've talked about today. Until next time, I've been the Neosoulgod, and this has been Dungeons and Deep Dives. Stay safe out there. See you soon.